Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad to be here for another session of Stronger and Better. So hopefully everybody's having a good day today. Please make sure you guys are saying hello to us as you're coming in. We want to see that you're joining us on today. I see people are starting to come in right now. So glad to see y'all. Make sure you're doing a watch party as you're coming in also. I'm gonna make sure I got mine going on. Or share it to somebody. We're gonna have a great topic today, talking about today's independent woman. So that'll be a good subject to talk about. So please make sure that you're sharing this. I see other people are starting to come in now and join us. It's going to be a great. See, here go my phone going off, going crazy. But please make sure that you, like I said, joining us. Make sure that you're sharing this, and make sure that you let everybody know about this great subject. I got my moms back with me today. You know, I'm always happy when they with me. So it's going to be a good conversation, y'all. It's going to be a real good conversation. So please, like I said, make sure you're saying hello to us. Make sure you're saying, giving us a hello and letting us know that you're here. I see more people are joining us. I'm trying to get out of the app so I do a watch party, but people are texting me at the same time. So here we go. There we go. So please make sure that you're coming in and joining us live on this segment. We want to hear from you also, and we want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you have to say about what we're talking about. So make sure that you put your comments in the comment section, and also make sure that you are asking questions. So please, I see people coming in. Hey, Heather, how you doing? Good to see you on today. Happy Thursday. We got Miss Janice here. Miss Smith, what's going on? Happy Thursday to everybody. I see people are coming in now. We got Robin in the house. What's up, Robin? Y'all make sure that y'all coming in. Good morning to everybody. Just because, what's up? Happy Thursday. We got Miss Demita. What's going on? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. So y'all please make sure that you're sharing this. Like I said, we got a hot topic today. We got a very hot topic. The independent woman. So what's going on? We still got people coming in. Miss Andrea, hey, good to see you on today. And glad to have everybody here with us. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this started, and I'm sure people are going to start to come in. Make sure, like I said, that you're sharing this with individuals and sharing them with people you think might need to hear this conversation. Also, you'll see right here at the bottom of the screen is the YouTube channel. So make sure that you're going to the YouTube page, and I will throw the link in the channel a little later just to make sure that people can hit the subscribe button. So we need everybody to hit that subscribe button, and we need you to join us and make sure that you're here with us every week, and going back to our old shows to make comments and to make sure that you're staying connected to us. So let's do that. So let's get to our subject today. We're talking about today's independent woman. And, you know, it's been a hot subject because we're talking about the independent woman of today and how they function in society versus the independent, I still want to say the independent woman of the past. And and how they operate a little different. So let's talk about the women of previous history versus the women of today. And so can y'all kind of share me what are some of the differences of the previous woman and the woman of today? Let's talk about that. Let's start our conversation off with that.
Okay.
Oh. So how far back you want to go?
We can go back. I mean, because I think it's all relevant in today's how women have evolved, and the evolution of women and the way they function today has to do with the past.
That's right.
It does.
It does. Whether right, wrong, or indifference. I think it's one of those things we kind of need to talk about.
Well, you know, I was thinking even back. In the beginning, you know, the one thing that I would like for you all to do, everybody should read 1 Corinthians chapter 13. and really, really take it apart and really see what it means to you today. You know, even coming up as a child, as I can remember my grandparents and also my parents as far as going back.
Yeah.
And on the one side, I would say they were kind of independent then. You know, I know my mom was, even though they had things to do, they were married, you know, and even when they weren't married, they learned how to work and do things that when they got ready to get married and have a house of their own, they were able to take care of the house, the husband, the kids, help with the chores and different things. And it wasn't a real issue because I think they were expecting to do things like that. And so it made a difference because let me use one set of my parents. My mom, in her mother and father's house, as a girl, she had to plow the mule because they had 9 children and most of them were girls. They only had two boys, and so the girls, my mom was the oldest, so she had to plow mule, and then she learned how to drive a tractor. So I think that's how she was able to become an entrepreneur early with my dad, because of the fact that she knew how to do certain things, and so she was able to, do things. But as far as myself, I could say that I had some of that, growing up. My grandmother taught me how, like I said, to sew when I was 7 years old. I mean, seventh grade. And then 10th grade, I was already a seamstress. By the time I graduated from high school, I had was a beautician, hairdresser. And so those kind of things, it made me kind of independent as far as looking out for myself at an early age before I even decided to even go to college. And that made a difference. Now, as far as the men part of it, I guess it was kind of natural. That's all I knew, because all I saw was my grandmother getting along with her husband, my mama getting along with my dad, and and so I knew how to do things even with my husband. Now that some women didn't know, so it's different with different things and it's different with the way some people are brought up. Some of those people back at my time, in my mom's time, their fathers weren't with them, or their mothers weren't with them. Their natural father or their natural mother. Back then, some men would marry a woman with 6 or 7 children, and some women would marry a man with 6 or 7 children. So,
but that was normal.
Hello out there. I know. I know. They said, "What is she talking about?"
Yeah. And then too, mother, the now, the children when they're going. So now what happens when with the young women now, they don't learn. The parents don't teach them. Some of them, like they taught us, to be independent. We had our jobs, we had little jobs, we had chores, things like that. Where now they independent when they get older. But in teenage years, they don't know how to value a dollar or the value of going to work, to being independent, to sustain themselves until they get older, to the point where some of them get into the corporate world, and they are very independent. When they become very independent, then they feel they don't need anybody. They can just do it all by themselves.
Well, I think that's the question, because I hear sometimes, and you hear it across the airways, that some women talk about, I don't need I don't need a man. I don't need this. I'm
Right.
independent. I could do it myself. So I mean, what are you guys' view on that statement of I don't need a man, or I don't need anybody to
Well,
help me?
well, we still have to go back to the Bible.
Right.
Yes.
Where even at the beginning, God gave Adam a helpmate.
Right.
And he was supposed to cover her and that kind of thing, to keep her from doing things on her own. And that's what got him in trouble in the first place, because he didn't cover her, and he allowed her to be in a place where she was talking to the enemy. And that even happens today. We have to really watch ourselves to stay where we need to be in line. I'm trying to help me, Reverend Robinson. I'm trying to get to where the question you asked again. Say that question again.
Yeah, but they say I don't need a man, because at the end of the day, I guess the question is there a need for a man, right?
Yeah.
Because they say I don't need a man. I can do this by myself. I could,
Well, you just talking in terms of making a place for yourself to have a house, a car, and that kind of thing. But when it comes to having children and stuff like that, it takes two to raise a child, because you find now all the kids, I do believe mothers have done a great job with raising their kids without their fathers in the house. But I see still now people be on the TV 30 and 40 years old still wanting to know their dad.
Yeah.
Because their dad was missing, and they cry about it because other kids have, and they had good stepfathers and things like that, but it still need that dad in the house. And some dads have done well by themselves as raising their children when the mother wasn't in the house. But still, you don't get, it's certain touches that a father has. It's something about a dad's voice that children will listen to. And it's something about a mother's love that they cater to, because they need that no matter what. Mom's gonna love me no matter what. So, it's different.
I think it's deeper too, before you answer, because when I hear people say that, they're talking in terms of financially. They don't need a man, because a lot of women now are making more money than the man. They don't need them sexually.
Right.
You got all these toys and stuff now. Honestly, you got all this stuff where they don't need them.
But it's artificial.
Need them sexually, in terms of mentality or emotional. They got their friends, and if they have a man that's just a temporary fix or something like that. So the question is, in this new age of the independent woman, does she really need?
Yes, she does need. She actually does need. And like you said, the reason why they feel they don't need is because of they looking at these material things and these tangible things that they can see. But and another thing too, the reason why they don't know that they need, because they don't know her. God designed woman for man, and that's why he took woman from the man's rib so that she can be close to his heart. So that and then she also need a man for companionship. Also for intimacy, and intimacy is not always sex. I always, when I'm counseling, say into me to see. You're not looking on the outside of what I got on and how pretty my dress is. Into me to see. That means that you are going to look into the inward part of me to see how I am inwardly. So this is what America is all about. That's what relationship is all about. But you find some women who are relationship prowlers. That's what I call them.
Wow.
Relationship prowlers are those who are looking for somebody at the moment, and at the moment they're in and out of your life. And the other reason they searching. So they go and they dress outwardly to attract men.
Yeah.
And then when they get them, they don't know what to do with them because they're just relationship problems. They're not in for, as God said, God created marriage to be permanent and lifelong, not for divorce in and out.
So
That's
can we talk
different.
about that?
Yes.
Because some people can, I'm just talking to women. Some women can take the fact of having a man, but don't want the husband piece of it.
Right.
And and I think that's a new subject now. Like they accept moving into a house with a man. They accept even buying a house, having assets, and building a whole family and life, but don't want to get married. So can we talk about even the husband piece, how important that is, or the aspect of the independent woman?
Yeah, because you know what? When they don't get married, they feel that they are holding on to their independence.
Yeah.
Because there's no longer, see, God said, leave your mother and your father and unite with one another. So what he did was he fused us together. But nowadays, they don't want to look at that like that. They don't want to look like, okay, when you fuse something together, that means you can destroy it, but you got to destroy it to tear it apart. So they're looking at where, if this doesn't work, then we can just separate.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as it used to be, because now men are wised up. They used to just say, okay, I'm out, but they don't do that anymore. You out, the woman out. So because and you got to, it's a lot to it now. So this is why a lot of women, used to be a lot of men don't want to get married. A lot of women don't want to get married now because they do not want to give up their independence. They do not want to give up their friends. They don't want to give up their lifestyle. So they rather just live with you. And then they can say, you know what, I do what I want to do. You do what you want to do. It's okay.
Yeah. But even I've had people, young women say to me that, and young men too, that I asked them questions and they said, well, we're just gonna stay together. And of course, me being who I am, my mouth is about to drop, and I said,
they got a heavy mouth.
I said, huh? And so, and then they say, well, that would give me a chance to know if we can make it or not. But it's not that easy.
Right.
You don't know whether you can make it or not. It takes years and years for you to grow together, to learn one another. You're not going to learn a person in a year or two. And some people even date, 2 or 3 years, and you still don't know the person. The biggest thing you can do is I guess, like my husband and I, we became friends, but it took a while for us to get there. And then after getting married, you just continue to grow. Sometimes they said now that it takes about 7 years for a marriage to work. So if you make it through that 7 years, then you can go all the way.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
It depends on whether you like one another.
Yeah.
Because you can love a person, don't like them.
Yeah.
You don't like their ways.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get married, but to build on a marriage is a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a lifetime.
So does a woman lose her independence if she gets married?
I don't think what they call independent.
Well, I guess her ability to do what she wants to do.
And what is that?
Maybe with work, with using her money the way she wants to use her money without asking permission, or to go here and there where she won't go, or not worrying about a guy checking in on her, or I think it's different aspects of it. Just the conversations I've had.
It has to do with trust,
right?
And then if you continue to want to, why is it that with me? Why is it that you want to be like that? I know a lot of people have separate bank accounts.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on you, the two people. So, but to me, I wouldn't want to do that as independent as I am.
And you independent.
Yes, I am.
I think too, Mother. Some of them lose their independence because of their mate.
Yeah.
Sometimes when a man feels that a woman is very her career oriented, and they feel like they are going to be less than, it would do something to their ego, their pride.
Yeah.
And so they will make them feel like they're losing their independence because some women, just stop going to school.
Yeah.
Because they got married. Why you don't have any kids? Why you not going to school?
Yeah.
Well, my husband said I need more time with him.
Yeah.
That's that insecurity of a man with the woman. But a woman should not have to lose her independence when she gets married because he's going to need her in that area. What are your goals? What are you fulfilling? What's your purpose? Are you fulfilling your purpose? So a man should want a woman to actually continue her education because he should be able to help him even in decision making. Not only that, but in suggestions or anything that he has a problem with, he should be able to come to his wife and say, what you think about this? I know it because I'm going back to school and I'm going to learn more because guess what? Because we're going to build our wealth together.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose.
That's the purpose.
Fulfilling the purpose that God has for both of you together.
I think it's important too, if those who are not married, if they're looking to be married, is linking with a man that's going to support that.
Yeah. But the thing is, I see today is that some women is afraid of doing that because of the fact so many guys now are looking for women like that who's really secure, with themselves. They know that they have their own car. They look like they're prosperous. I mean, a lot, and then they feel that, man, if I can get in there, then I can do what I want to do. I don't have to pay no rent. No. That's because she's going to take this. So it's different. It's different now than even when we at our age came up because of the fact that people are just so tricky now, and it takes a while for you really to trust a person. I say at the ages now of 30s and 40s, even 20s, 30s and 40s. I think it's hard. It's really, really hard and difficult. You really, really got to know that this is your helpmate.
I think that raises another question then, as the independent woman and she's functioning on her own, or how does she know, or when is the right time to trust or to turn that I don't want to say turn the independence off, but to trust that she can be vulnerable with that person. So when is that?
It takes the Holy Spirit to do that. Because you can't do it on your own. I don't think so. It takes really you and God. It depends on how strong you are in the Lord, and you actually talk to him, and God will talk back to you, and he won't let you make mistakes. I'm not saying that none of us have made mistakes. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
And some of those mistakes, you see why we had to make that mistake, so we could get our minds together and depend on God rather than trying to depend on ourselves. And that's what happened, I think, with a lot of women. If they're, and I might be wrong, I don't know what Reverend Robin have to say about it, but it's just hard to get to that state.
Yeah.
Because here now the men and women are doing the same thing to each other.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, well, the woman got to do this or the man got to do this. It's really coming together. Like we were talking about, you have to be together and have that mindset, and then too, say for instance, if you marry a guy who has no financial goals, it's just like you going downhill.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't care how much in love you are. He can satisfy you in so many ways. But if the two of you don't have goals to where you're going to end up when you get old,
Right.
then it's something missing there.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going to say too that when you said about trust,
Yeah.
when you're talking about trust, I looked up the word like when you're submitting to one another, you're respecting one another. Knowing when a woman can trust a man is knowing that he got her back, knowing that he loves her and he treats her as jewel, as a gem that God created them to be. That gem is that fusion that I was talking about. They're fused together. They're one, and their mindset. They begin to think alike. They begin to have the same vision.
Yeah.
That's when she can trust you.
Yeah.
She can trust you with because you can, like you said, it doesn't matter when you're married. It's a lot of women make more money than men, but they're not going to trust you with their money unless you know that I'm talking about a woman who saved. I'm not talking about women who saved. Women who are saved. If they know that you love them as Christ loved the church, that you're willing to actually die for them, that you're really to actually lay down your life for them, that everything that you're doing, you're asking God for the wisdom.
Yeah.
To give you the wisdom to do it and to actually pray about things, they'll give you everything they have. It's on the table right here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can trust you now. But if they feel like they can't trust you and they think like, I don't care whether you in the church or not, everybody in the church ain't saved.
That's right.
You have to actually study a person.
Yeah. And another thing that has to do with that is tithing.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you have to know that the two of you are on the same wavelength. Because if you don't want to tithe, then it's something wrong with that. That lets you know right away that you are not going to reach your goal until you do what is right by the Lord.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to let doors continue to open to you and you have thrown him away.
Yeah. And then what are your values in life? What are your values in life? Talk about those things. That should all be done before marriage, but a lot of them do it after marriage. But then it's kind of a little bit late. You need to be. I tell you another thing too. Being authentic is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you're not real with one another, and that's why I say study, that means that you got to be having some keen discernment. I'm talking about saved people. You got to have some keen discernment to discern this person. Right. To know that whether they're authentic or whether they're not.
Yeah.
So there are some people on here who are married.
Yeah.
So and they might not have thought about these things before they got married. Right. So how should they operate so they don't lose their independence or regain their independence? And live the life that God's destined for. What are ways that you think they should do that?
Well, the first thing I would suggest, and because I am one, I seek counseling. You can ask the Lord and you can pray, but God gives us wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you know that something's missing in this marriage, I know that we're married and certain things that you say, well, man, I should have done, or you might be in a seminar and you say, oh, I didn't do that. God could put things, and what God does, he put things in our path.
Right.
So we want him to just drop everything in our lap, but he's not going to do that. He'll put it in our path, and he wants you to do some work, some work.
Yeah.
Marriage takes work. So what you do is you say, this is what we need to do, and this is how you grow together. The things that you missed before. I mean, I didn't have a lot. I had premarital counseling when I married Freeman, but after we got married, it's a lot of things that I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of things will come up that you can get in that premarital counseling.
Yeah.
And even though it could be something that you might say, well, you didn't, but the truth is not that. It just didn't come up. So guess what? Okay, we're not gonna just get stuck. Some people get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
That's why you need counseling, and you need to go to someone who don't know either one of you sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That way you can just and be honest with one another. And when you're doing that, you can make it. You'll have a solid marriage because that's what God intended it to be.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. So what's the difference between being independent and being submissive?
Mm.
Oh, wow.
And how do you balance that? And can you do both of those at the
Mhm.
same time?
You can do both.
Mhm.
You can be submissive, submitting to one another. So what the Bible says in Ephesians 5, we know.
Yeah.
Submit to one another.
Another.
See, the man always go, I'm say man first, because you gonna submit to me, woman. You gonna do what I say do. That's what the word said. That ain't what
That's
the word
right.
said. The word said, first of all, submit to one another. And how do you do that? He said, out of reverence to God.
Yeah.
All right. So as unto the Lord, he said, woman, submit to the man as unto the Lord. But first of all, both of you have to have something to submit to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you are not living right and your lifestyle is not in order with the word of God, submission is not in order.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, submitting to one another, you're going to respect one another.
Yeah.
You're going to value one another. You're going to love one another. Being a servant to one another.
Yeah.
Out of respect, that is submission.
Mhm.
But independent woman, yes, you can be both. You can be independent. I'm very independent. I've been independent since I was 16.
Yeah.
But very, very independent.
Yeah.
But not to the point where I think I can do without you.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I'm independent to the fact that what I'm going to do is I'm going to enhance on what we already have.
That's right.
That's being independent.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you to grow. And I'm not talking about just finances. We're going to grow in every area of our life because we can do this together because we are submitting to one another and still being independent. That means I still have my hobbies. I still can carry on the desires, my desires that I always wanted to be. I always wanted to be, say, for instance, you want to be write a book.
Yeah.
I want to be an author. I'm very independent. And this is going to be your time of independence to put your things aside. You're going to prioritize.
Right.
That's being independent.
Yeah.
Okay. That means don't allow anyone to take your independence away from you because God has a purpose for your life separate from his life.
Yeah.
You're together, but you're still separate.
Yeah.
God says he put you together. He fused you together, but you're separate physically because you're fulfilling the purpose that God has for you on this earth. His purpose for you to fulfill the destiny that he has for you. Okay, so are you fulfilling the destiny? Go back and do some research on yourself. Well, I wanted to do this, but I can't do it now because I'm married. I got the kids. No. You still hold on to that independence, and at the same time being submissive to your husband. That means that when he come home, he shouldn't have you looking around with your roller still in your hair and your long dress. He married you. You got a tight dress on, nice greased up legs, hair done every week, nails polished. But then when you get married, you got to come home to a rag mop. You see what I'm saying? So that hold on to your independence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you lose it. Sometimes we lose our own independence. They got nothing to do with a man. You get comfortable in your situation.
Yeah.
You get comfortable in dating. The same way it took to get him and her is the same way it's going to take to keep them. Date, run around the house and have fun. Play hide and go seek. I'm just saying. Okay.
You gonna say something about it?
I think she.
Oh, okay. So I guess out of that, the question is, can a woman be taken advantage of if she's not independent?
Mm-hmm.
If she does not
Yeah.
stand her ground, can she be taken advantage of?
Yes.
Yeah.
She can. Because she doesn't know what it means to be independent. And guess what she does? She becomes vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that means that he can just either one can just, now you can say the man, but now it's the woman and the man.
Yeah, it's
but
both.
It's both.
Yeah,
so you can if you're not independent, you can be very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You can be very insecure.
Yeah.
You don't know you lose your identity in all of that. So
that's happening with a lot of young women that lose their identity.
Yeah.
You
don't know who you are anymore. Sometimes you let men do this, that love thing, man. That loving that sometimes that sex thing, man. I'm telling you, that loving that sex. Oh, he just love me. No, he don't. What do you mean? You grow in love. You don't fall nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
sex thing just lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all about sex, but it's not all about sex.
Yeah.
And by the time you know, if you continue to really use your body like that, and you are not married, it is going to tell the it's going to take a toll on your life.
Yeah, that's right.
From what I understand, you know, from the doctors and different things like that. When you know, in dealing with a lot of young women, I know they seem to have health problems in every area of their lives when they have done so much of that while they were young.
Yeah.
Because of the fact they're trying to find a man.
Yeah.
And they figure that this is the only way to get him.
Yeah.
But you won't get him like that.
And hold on to that Proverbs 37:4. I just thought about that. Proverbs, to delight yourselves in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Whatever you want in a man, write it down. Look, don't settle. That's the key. Hold on to your independence. Don't settle. I don't care how fine they are. You got what to say? Yeah. What I say about intimacy? Into me to see. See what's on the inside of that choker. You know, so okay.
So in terms of okay, let's even talk to the guys, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about the guys, and you know, like me, I'm single. All right. So how do you deal with the independent woman in this era? In terms of dating, in terms of, you know, giving them that encouragement to be independent, but you want to have relationships. So how do you deal with that?
Okay.
I think it's okay as long as I don't think a woman should start dictating, you know, to you about, you know, what you should be doing because of the fact of what they are doing, and sometimes that will run a guy off in that area too. I need that question again. For my mind to be clear.
So what I'm saying, you know, in terms of just in dating, I think, you know, it's you know, the independent woman is different. So she's financially stable. You know, you're looking at different things. Sometimes you're not looking as a male, could you provide for them financially like you would before, or now, you know, women are taking guys out to dinner now.
Right. That's why I needed that question.
And you know, it's different, you know, in terms of, you know, women have kids, they have households, you know, they have their own houses. They, you know, you're walking into a different environment where it's not a man's world anymore.
No,
you know, in
not.
terms of that stuff,
right.
it's men and women's in terms of independence, providing for yourself, making a future. Women are excelling just as men are. So it's a different ball game, and the approach is totally different.
Yeah. Okay. As a single man, when you know a woman who is career status and she's stable and she's set and she's secure and all of these things, then what you have to do, what the single man has to do, is what kind of woman are you looking for? What kind of woman are you seeking for? Are you looking for, first of all, a godly woman?
Yeah.
Or are you looking for a woman who got everything, who has everything?
Right.
Are you looking for a woman who has children? Are you looking for a woman, see how she handle her children? Is she patient?
Yeah.
Is she stable in as far as rearing those children in the right way in the Lord? You're looking for certain things in a wife. Even if she has everything going together and everything is all set in her life, she got the house, she got the car, she got all these material things, and she's wealthy.
Right.
But what are you looking for?
Right.
You're not looking for those things. You're looking for the spiritual aspect. That's why a lot of people miss it in marriage, because they're looking at the tangible things that they can see. And God says, I made marriage spiritually first, then physical. Adam and Eve came together spiritually. They were one spiritually. He took her out of his rear. They had the same spirit. Okay, give them the same authority. They had the same dominion, power, and authority. He gave them the same, but he separated them when he made man leadership. So this is what you have to look at. You got to look at the spiritual part first before you start looking at what everybody. And then if the woman got it together spiritually, she gonna have that thing together in the physical, because she's gonna be looking at what your values are, what your career goals are, and she's gonna enhance that with whatever you have, and you're gonna move forward.
This is free counseling.
Yeah, and even when it comes to your kids or her kids, you know, same difference. And even, you know, like you were speaking, Reverend Roberts, even like when I was independent, I had a good job and all of that, but I had to give all of that up to marry my husband. So it took, so I guess the Lord knew that it would take time for us to really get together the way that we should. Even the dream that he said he had about me. But see, at that time, we were friends, but we didn't have all the other parts that we needed to have. And so God took his time to really show each of us those 4 years apart. There are some things that we had to do. There's some things that I had to do. There's some things that he had to do for us to come together. And so that could happen to anybody. And sometimes the person may not be where you are at the time you're dating, but with us, the Lord had to show each of us that we were supposed to marry each other, and he would do that. And so a lot of women say, but you know, it's no men around. Yes, there is. There's one. All you need is one. That one for you. And I think that would happen, like you say, if you allow the Spirit of God to really show you, and you have to take some time, because there will be some loneliness in the midst of all of this. You just don't say, "No, I want to get married now, and I'm running and getting married." No, it might take some time for it to happen, but you will know when it happens.
I guess my question too is: do you think that the independence of the woman, if she's very strong-willed or really stuck in being so independent that she doesn't need anybody, could block her blessing from receiving the one that she's supposed to receive?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that can happen.
It will block her blessings from receiving what God has for her, because she's looking at what she already has, and she's not looking at what God. See, that's the thing. It's still the same thing. We're looking at things that's before us, rather than looking at the long haul of what God has for us ahead. So when we get stuck in that, we'll continue to be wealthy and all these riches down here. That's what God's talking about. We gather up all this wealth and all these riches, and guess what? We're empty on the inside. And we're lost spiritually because we don't have the Holy Spirit. We just grieving him. So because of our own selfishness, and I call it selfishness. An independent woman can be very selfish at times. So you have to watch that. I was very independent with freedom, but my husband taught me not to be independent. I was still independent, but he taught me, he actually had patience with me and taught me. And if a man really wants you to be his wife forever, he would take time and he would show you things that you're lacking in and that you are trying to control in. But with a loving way, and you will begin to kind of shed off some of that stuff. Because I was at the point at one time, and I'm not ashamed to say that, I'd be like, hey, I can do good all by myself. I can do good, not bad. And I ain't doing bad by myself. I can do good all by myself. I was there at one point. So I can speak that from experience, but it doesn't work because you can't do good all by yourself. I had 2 boys and 1 girl. You see, so we had to look at it God's way, and God would put it in your path. Sometimes God put things in our past. Watch what you look on back of, because sometimes he'll put a truck right in front of you, and you just riding in that truck saying, be obedient, believe God, or whatever, just believe. And you just sit there looking at the truck. I wish he would just move where God got the truck stuck there.
So you can see.
So, that's it.
So do you think the traditional roles of the man has changed since the independent woman has evolved?
The roles have switched.
Yeah.
The woman becomes the head of the household, and the man becomes the nanny. I'm just saying, because if a woman wants to do that because she wants to feel like she's needed.
Yeah.
She wants to feel like she's on top of everything. I got this. Don't worry about it. Okay, you laid off. Okay, and my husband's in heaven, but I could use him as an example. You laid off, or you don't have a job, so your wife is making all this money. So guess what? You switch roles. You come home. You done cooked. You done washed. And I'm gonna use my husband as an example because my husband was laid off from the Board of Education.
Yeah,
and I was making good money. Okay, very independent woman, right? I come home, he's cooked, he's washed, the house clean, graphics done, everything's set. But suppose I did that all my life. Yeah. I came home one day, I'm like, these roles are different. We got to go find a job. Let's go, God, job hunting. Within 2 weeks, my husband had a job, another job, because women do that to men.
Yeah.
They no, I can do. My husband have to do nothing. I guess the man do. He don't have to do nothing. Man, what you doing? Oh man, I'm laying up and chilling. Man, I'm waiting to come work. Man, look, I ain't trying to cook nothing. Man, I'm ordering out today. She paying for it. I got the card. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So if you're in that situation, stop. He needs a job. Help him find one. Find one for him. All he got to do is fill out the application. I would fill out the application. All he has to do is sign it. That's when you do that. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, we do. We got some questions. Yeah, man need to work though. I agree with that. I mean, he shouldn't be sitting at home. This is from Azania. She says, advice on addressing men who seem to have unresolved issues with their children and reliving parenting through their grands.
Mother, you can answer that.
It's what?
Reliving parenting through their
resolved issues with their children. Now they're reliving parenting now through their grandchildren. They didn't do a good job with their children.
Yeah,
but they're trying to do it with
them.
Does that mean that grandchildren are staying with them?
I don't
necessarily.
know. No, I don't think necessarily. They just probably over.
See, this millennial is different than the millennial that we were in. So sometimes a grandparent would try to rear a child the way that they were reared, and it was not the right way.
Right.
Not like you were.
Right.
So they would want to keep them stuck back in the 1960s. Oh, I would say further than that, in the 1940s, instead of like, you do what I say do, don't do what I do, or their mentality of raising children. This millennium is different. You know, that's how come it's very important that even grandparents need to sometimes get some tools.
Right.
Go to some seminars on parenting, so that you would know how do you handle a young lady when she comes in and she's 13 years old and she says, I made a mistake, and she's scared to say anything. I made a mistake. And then, what you do? You been with this boy? I'll beat your so-and-so. You see what I'm saying? So you can't handle them.
Right.
Because you don't have a mindset.
Right. That it's you have to teach them, and like you said, you really have to know how to talk to children.
Yes.
And I try to put myself in that child's place at whatever they are going through. And if you do that, and that's with another adult too, whatever I hear, I'm trying to focus, get yourself. How would you react if that was you?
Yeah.
You know, is it anybody that you could have gone through and gone to and said, I've done this, and that kind of thing? And see, it, like you said, it's hard to find that now, but as a grandparent and even as a parent, you know, and to other people, I don't care what a person does. I'm still going to love that person,
Mhm.
and I'm going to find a way that I may be able to help them in whatever situation that
Mhm.
they are in. I might not know what to say or what to do at that particular time, but I asked God, I said, this person is hurting,
Mhm.
and I'm hurting because I want to be able to minister to them the right way.
Right.
And I just don't jump up and start hollering and stuff
Mhm.
like many grown women have come to me and said, Mother, I'm pregnant.
Right.
My eyes are not popped
Mhm.
because I know they are accidents that could happen to anybody when you're not thinking. And the enemy sometimes will fool you into things, and you know anything, things has happened to you, and you know that's not you, and it didn't mean to be that way, but the devil is always coming in to try to destroy not only my child, my grandchild, the great grandchildren, however it goes on down the line to keep that going. So what you have to do is try to learn, like Robert said, you got to learn how to talk to the kids now. You have to know what makes them smile or makes them happy, and not afraid to tell you anything. And I've always been that way, that I thought that even my siblings or whoever I'm close to, they're not afraid to tell me what is going on with them.
Right.
You know, and I may not like it, and I may think it's wrong, but we're going to find a way. We're going to get through this, and we're still going to love each other.
Right.
And we're not going to go out and talk about one another.
And the thing is, being a good listener to the children. Even though we might say, well, you know, my dad didn't love me, my granddad didn't love me, so I don't know. But after you come to a certain point in your life, we can't blame anybody else, because we have choices and decisions that we can make ourselves.
No, that's good. Just in terms of the question, you know, it talked about the unresolved issues of their children. Now, I think they're speaking on that they felt they were not a good parent, or they had issues with their children in terms of their life, and now that the children are older, they're using the grandkids to make up for what they didn't do for
their
children. And you know, I think when just listening to the both Azim is really, you know, that man has to forgive himself for, you know, not being the father that he should have been. At the same time, it's never too late to build a relationship with his current children if they allow it. You know, and he should at least do his part to build that relationship. But at the end of the day, Isaiah, you have to allow, he has to be allowed to be the best grandfather he can be for those grandkids also. You know, like not necessarily over spoiling them or letting them do what they want to do in terms of that, but you know, dealing with, like you said, in a way where they can talk to them, where he can help build their character. The things that he did not do to his current children, he can still do with his seed. That's still his seed. That's still his generation. So he can fix some of that stuff.
And see, and some of that could be that he had issues himself. The reason why he couldn't do what he was supposed to do with his own kids. Now he's older and he's
more mature now.
He's more mature, and he probably has forgiven whoever back in his life that mistreated him. So that a lot of time that's the way it works too.
That's a good question. So this next question says, what if you were asked to be married and you tuned that person or turned that person down because you did not see that person at the time he was the right one, but now you think about that person often and wonder if you made a mistake?
Now it's personality.
You need to go find
it. Ain't never too late if the person's not married. So that's what I would do. If the person's not married, and I'm talking about right now, because you know, if the person's not married and you still think about that person, maybe maybe I made a mistake, or maybe you for one thing you got to try the spirit by the spirit, see it of God, because we saved, like I said before, and then you have to say, Lord, Holy Spirit, is this you talking to me? Maybe I need to find out who he is and where he is. He might not be mad and tell you the truth. He might be thinking about you. I think about Freeman, because Freeman. So one day you're gonna be my wife, and I was 16 years old, and 25 years later. There comes George, maybe longer than 25 years later.
Yeah.
But it's the fact is that he was married, divorced, and never got married again because he figured he was going to run into me one day. That could be the same thing. He ran into me at the church, on the steps, coming out of the church at on Blue Hills Avenue in Hartford, Connecticut.
Blew her socks off.
Sure did. Come all the way from New York. Called my mother, and my mother said, well, only way you're going to find her is at the church because I can't give a phone number out, no address. So he came to the church to look for me. So, honey, find out where he's at. See, is he married? If he's married, okay, God, somebody else is for me because I can't mess with nobody else's husband. But if he's not married, he might have the same thing. So I would follow through on that one.
Yeah. You got anything to say, Mom?
No.
All right, so it's another question came through. It was long. I was trying to read it. Let me see what it says. It says, I have a question. What do you do when you have been blessed? You blessed to have your own home, your own vehicles, a good job, you're educated, and you have a man tell you that you don't need a man because you are a man. You know, and a woman just look at all the things that you have, and somehow that makes a man intimidated. Mm-hmm. What do you do with that? So the man is intimidated because she has her own house, her own car. She's very educated, and to the man, he's intimidated and say, "You are the man. So what you need me for?" How do you deal with that?
Wow.
Well, first of all,
and let me finish what she said. Then it says, "I have been told many times by various men, and it is so frustrating. What am I supposed to do? Dumb down because men are afraid of the volume of my success? God has blessed me, and I am willing to share that blessing. I felt like God was preparing me to be a helpmate and not a dead weight. But how do you process something like that?" Wow.
The problem is every man come into contact with and you share things with them. It depends. For one thing, when you first meet the person, do you give them all the information? If you're with a person for a while and they get to know you as a person, then some men can be insecure and some not. But normally, when you first meet them and go, I don't care if it's been like 2 or 3 months, I wouldn't let them know all I have. They can come to my house and see my house is nice, I'm stable. They may ask me where I work at. I tell them where I work at, and that's it. I don't tell them whether you're the president of I'm the president of the Hartford. I say I work at the Hartford. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we give out too much information, and men feel insecure. Well, what you need with me, you got everything. Well, guess what? What I need with you, because you don't have anything. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you, since you said that, is it something true to dating on your level?
Yes.
Or because is she? Well,
I'm saying no. Let me answer that. This is another thing I was going to say a little bit on down because I thought about that when you were reading it. Sometimes we can be not compatible. I wouldn't say standards, but God has high standards for us, and this is when you don't settle. If a man say that you don't need me because you have everything, you are the man. No, I'm not the man because I know what the word says.
He's not on your level.
He's not on your level. So the word said, take him back to Genesis and read it to him. If he don't know the word, then guess what? You don't want him nowhere. Yeah. Because he ain't in the word and he don't know. He's looking at stuff that you have, and then you don't have. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to eventually take everything you have because he's going to strip you of your identity. So it might be, sometimes it take a while. God put men into our path, but sometimes it take a while for us to realize who is my husband and who not. That's why we got to trust God and not our own instincts.
Right. You should never have to dumb yourself
wouldn't
down.
do that. I wouldn't do
mean,
that.
if God has blessed you with that success and God should probably wants to bless you with more, but if you get into a relationship, the man's already telling you that you the man, and that means he doesn't have a vision for himself.
Doesn't have anything. And then too, that's a trick of the enemy. You got to realize the devil put that man in your path, so that because he's always there. He's not going anywhere. He wants to strip you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So no, devil, you ain't doing this to me. Yeah. I'm gonna be right here, me and Jesus, until he give me my husband.
And what's happening when he says that to her? What's happening?
And then he'll mistreat you too. He'll start abusing you mentally.
Because men don't have to hit you. Make him say that.
That's psychological thing.
Psychological. Yeah. He doesn't have enough confidence in himself to think that he can accomplish the same things that you have already accomplished.
Right. And this is your point.
And at this point, he probably should have accomplished those things by now. And you can't hold your life back or dumb it down because of that. There's somebody out there.
Yeah.
Who's on your level.
Only thing I can say is don't settle. Don't settle.
Yeah. One last question, and we are over our time, but I'm gonna ask this last because this was a quick hour. But it says, is it okay to date someone going through a divorce?
If you're going through divorce and you're not divorced?
No. Is it okay to date someone
who is going through a divorce?
Going through a divorce.
I think that you can talk to them and be, as a friend, but I don't think you need to date anybody. For one thing, they still married.
I'm about to say they need time to get old.
They need time.
Yeah.
You can see a person and give them advice and just talk to them. And keep it on a spiritual level. No, do not date anybody who's on their way to get a divorce. Because guess what? They on the way to rebound.
Yeah, it needs to be some time and space for that person to make sure they know what they're getting into.
Right, because he might be still in love with that woman or she in love with that man.
And don't even realize.
Don't even realize it's not going to work with you because you're on the rebound.
Yeah, you don't want to be like that.
No.
Well, you got anything else to say, Mom?
Oh, hallelujah, this is over.
You got anything
I enjoyed this. I pray someone learned something, got something out of this session, and we see you later.
That was a great hour. We went over a little bit, but thank you for joining us for another segment of Stronger and Better. We got to have another conversation about the independent woman because there are some issues that I think we didn't touch upon, but maybe we'll do a part 2 next month or something like that. But thank you for joining us. Please make sure that you go to my YouTube channel and make sure that you hit the what's the button? Subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you join us. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. for another segment of Stronger and Better. I'm putting the YouTube channel in the chat, so please make sure you hit it for me. We're trying to make sure we get as many people involved in this. I love you guys. We love you, and I appreciate my moms for joining us today for another great conversation. We see you later.
Love you.